gonna drop his whole rail off of here, right here in just a second. What's these in here with nails? These are screws too? Just be careful. Because it might fall and get your hands. Watch, just be careful. Whoa, there we go. Can't hold it no more. I gotta let go. Good. Just let go, yeah. Kick it over. Kick it off. Watch out, guys. There it goes. Very good. Yep, very good. Perfecto. So what this is a peeling deck paint lockdown encapsulation project that we're doing up here in Middletown, Ohio, right? And as you can see, and previously you guys saw at the beginning of the video, we dropped that back rail right there because the last guy that built it did a horrible job of building it. He had a 25-foot rail section back there connected with 2x4s on the outside that were just screwed into the outside of the band board, and it was loose and all that, and you touched it and it was wobbling, right? So as soon as I got here, I told the guys just drop it, right? But we're going to build them a new rail system through there with the proper post, bolted in how it's supposed to be bolted in, and all that. There's a little bit of configuration issues because it's a custom deck. We're trying to figure out exactly if we're going to notch it in or if we're going to notch over the outsides. What we're trying to figure out right now, but we'll get it figured out one way or another, and it'll be way better than what they had. While we're here, the whole deck system is going to get completely restored. They got 12 planks for replacement in their floor here. They're getting all brand new cap rails. So cap rails, rail caps, these that sit up here, they're down there right now, but they'll get all brand new of these. They're getting a little bit of leveling over here if we can. We're going to try to, they got just a tiny little dip in here. We're going to see if we can get up underneath there, stick a jack in there and jump it up and get them a little bracing through there. And they're also getting a new gate. Also getting a new gate here, right? So build them an all new gate, get it hooked up with some decent hardware. We'll build it as light as we can. These gates, no matter what, they always, over time, unfortunately, they start to lean. Even the ones that are absurdly light and have the strongest hardware. The big thing here is the peeling deck paint lockdown that we're getting ready to perform. Lockdown encapsulation. Not dealing with paying somebody to sand all this off of here, and there, believe it or not, on their floor there's not very much left. Close to the house a little bit where the UV rays, and you guys can see, you see the shade line there, right? That's the shade that's here every day, right? You see the shade lines? So if you look in the shade lines, you'll see tons and tons of peeling paint where lots of it's left, right? When you get outside of those shade lines, see the shade line? None, right? Just absolutely obliterated. That's what we call UV ray adhesion degradation. Basically, it just means the UVA spectrum has penetrated all the way through the paint film and embedded, and it embeds itself into the wood. And over time, it just obliterates the adhesion of deck paint, residential deck paints and stains. You got to move away from these thin residential deck paints and stains. They're not thick enough to put up with the UV ray penetration. And I've shown that. I've shown that a million times over the past 10 years via video, via picture, via all that. And it kills me to this day that we've got Kong armor, the world's toughest deck armor, thick enough to put up with the UV rays, 90 to 95% UV deflection. And I watch homeowner after homeowner hire inexperienced local painters and handymen to stain their decks with water thinner than a sheet of notebook paper residential deck paint and stain. And every time I see it, I see the post on Facebook, it makes me want to puke, because I know that they just tossed away thousands of dollars because this is the end result, right? Not rated for foot traffic, has no foot traffic rating whatsoever, right? Not thick enough to put up with the UV ray penetration. It's a scam. It's to get you guys to keep coming back and back and back every couple years. You have to have industrial grade coating for decks. Anything that's walked on, you have to have industrial grade coating for it. Let me just put it that way. If you don't, you are tossing money into a dumpster. Got our work cut out here. Building a new rail system, all that. Here's the old one. It fell down just like how I expected it to fall down, straight down, right? And we'll get to work on that and get going on that. Big changes at the new rail deck. That's what I'm calling this deck, the new rail deck. Day 2, okay? Big changes already. Look, brand new, brand spanking new rail system here. So the last one, of course we gotta put the spindles up here, but the last one that we tore down yesterday, it had 2x6 posts that were on the outside, not posts, just 2x6 boards that were nailed into the outside, holding this whole 25, 30 foot, 35 foot rail section up. And it was just wobbling everywhere, right? So previously in the video, you guys seen us tear that down. Now, what have we done? We've come in the right way. We took up the deck boards and went into the joist, bolted into the joist. Okay, we got to put another bolt in this one here, diagonal offset, but 4x4 post like they're supposed to be. I don't know how many feet apart he spaced them across apart, but he put plenty of them in there. Here, take you guys up and show you. Properly done, instead of that shoddy handyman crap. Look, all down through there. What are these, every 6 feet? How many feet apart with posts? 6? 8?
6 feet.
6 feet?
Yeah.
Every 6 feet there's a post that's bolted. So it's actually bolted into the frame down at the bottom, and then there's one that's bolted into the joist. And so 3 bolts?
1, 2, and
oh, 3. Okay. 3. Boom. Great. And so it's strong. It's strong as an ox. So we got that up with our air dried, pressure treated, ready to coat decking lumber. That's one of the advantages here in Cincinnati, northern Kentucky, of going with Kong armor, deck rescue painting, deck restoration painting, is that we store up enough lumber, we let it air dry out, we can coat it immediately as soon as we restore, right? In our lifetime deck armor system, right? The thick build, the high build, the ultra tough, right? We're getting ready to coat all this once we get this all put back together. We've also leveled out this floor. So the floor had a little divot in it here. There's a lot going on with this hot tub. It's absurdly heavy, right? So it caused a little bit of sink in there. We've come in and reinforced this and leveled it out a little bit for them. We'll get this all buttoned back up, get their bad boards out of the floor, get everything fully restored, and then we'll start focusing our attention on bringing the world's toughest deck armor in here, Kong armor, and doing the peeling deck paint lockdown encapsulation. So this turned out absolutely amazing up here in Middletown, Ohio. Check, look. So we were calling this the new rail deck, or I forget what I was calling it, but peeling deck paint lockdown encapsulation deck rescue painting project via Kong armor, the world's toughest deck armor. And Kong has just absolutely played with any peeling paint that was on this deck. I mean, just toyed with it like it was nothing. It's encapsulated everything, no problem whatsoever. I can't take you over there right now because the area is just a little bit still curing up a little bit, but as you can see, just gorgeous. We dropped this rail system off of here. It was built just horribly, so we dropped the whole rail. It's about a 30-foot section of rail. Dropped it, built a brand new one, how it's supposed to be built. New 4x4 posts that come up that are lagged into the joist, lagged into the frame down there. It's solid as a rock, right? I mean, you could park a truck on this rail right now. That's how tough that is. All right, so we replaced all the bad boards, built a new rail, washed it up, and then what we did is I came in here and we had the Kong armor deck rescue painters. I had them drive about $500 of the world's toughest and most expensive deck post crack filler, deck repair epoxy, silverback epoxy into all the cracks, the knots, the voids, the carpenter bee holes, the imperfections, right? So we did that along the inside and along the outside, and we allowed that to cure up overnight, and then we came in and we did the lockdown encapsulation, and man, oh man, this deck system here just turned out drop dead gorgeous and stunning, on the verge of replacement here in Middletown. So they were facing down replacement, about a $50,000 to $60,000 replacement. Let me take you to the outside and show you. Yeah, so they were contemplating coming in with composite here, so, which is what everybody does, and it's a huge financial mistake. It's equity in your home that you'll lose, that you'll never get back. You never ever get it back, and it doesn't add any value to your home, regardless of whether you have a wood deck that costs about, well, if you do restoration, you save tons, but regardless of whether you have a wood deck and the lifetime care of it ends up being about 50% of what you'd pay for owning composite and the lifetime care of that, regardless whether you take that super expensive route or you take the more economic route, your home will still be worth the same amount. So it doesn't make sense economically to switch to composite. But think about this for a second. Here at this deck, the new rail deck, look at this gorgeous new, look how beautiful that new rail turned out. Yeah, new owners that say that won't make me happy. I want the new synthetic beautiful composite look. How much more beautiful can you get, right? And it's backed for life because it's coated in the Kong armor lifetime deck armor system. It's got local actionable resolution. I mean, just go. Anyways, I won't get into rails, but Kong armor here, the peeling deck paint lockdown encapsulation service that we've done has saved this family likely I'm gonna say it saved them about 35 grand for sure. For sure. That's locked in. They had that savings versus replacement with composite for sure. And what does that mean again? It means that Kong armor, the lifetime deck armor, the world's toughest deck armor, it's paid for itself. Right, it's paid for itself right at application more than once. That's huge. There's very few services or products on the planet that deliver savings to the customer like that and pay for themselves plus return a savings, that pay for themselves and return a savings to the customer immediately. Can you name any? Huh? Can you name any products right now that pay for themselves via their savings that they provide to the customer? There's very few, and Kong's one of them, right? But the complete restoration, rebuild of this deck system, cleaned up all of its bad and rotten members out of here, completely restored, new rail system built, over 20 boards replaced in here, general maintenance, right? Then you got to remember all the restoration that we did in here, we did with first in class air dried pressure treated lumber and first in class 316 marine grade stainless steel, the most highly corrosive resistant deck screw on the planet is what we put in here, so they don't face that future rust to rot cycle on anything that we restored and coated. And then the big thing, the encapsulation, right? The lockdown encapsulation of the peeling deck paint that was here, which is why that and the rotten boards is why they were on the verge of replacement and they were contemplating doing it. We resolved everything here for them in just a couple visits, right? And now they got lifetime limited warranty. They got lifetime service promise on this. Kong remains. So when we talk about being the world's toughest deck armor, it's not all just about being long lasting. It's about being versatile too as well, right? So Kong remains the only deck armor system on the planet that comes with locally backed resolution for life. Our system owners have access to annual cleaning, spot touch-up, what we call regeneration for minor dings, things like that that happen throughout the year. We give them access to that via their lifetime service promise. Anytime life of ownership, we'll come out, we'll help them with the Kong Armor lifetime deck armor system. Our local dealership is right here in Cincinnati with them where they live, right? These guys are in Middletown, same thing, right? Cincinnati and Dayton are merging together as one metro, so doesn't really matter. They also got lifetime warranty. They got a lifetime limited warranty on this car. So if anything happens, if they have some type of major appeal event, they can bring us out here and show us, hey, look, this ain't fair to us. This is not us just washing our deck, right? And just doing a couple little touch-ups for potted plants or a scrape from our grill or something like that. This is massive failure. If they can demonstrate that to us, we'll fix it for them for free for life, right? As long as we can look at it and say, hey, that's not caused by a dog, a jet plane, or some type of other silly thing that nobody on the planet would cover, right? The best warranty for a deck coating system on the planet today. We got it. We got the only locally backed lifetime service promise for a deck coating system on the planet. We got it. We got the two best features for a deck product anywhere in the world is right here at Kong Armor. So save the deck, save the customer 35 grand, gave them a lifetime limited warranty, gave them a lifetime service promise, promise to stay with them for life of ownership and make sure that they don't ever have to go through what they're going through again right now. They don't ever have to completely do it again. Boom. That's the power of Kong Armor. Our peeling deck paint lockdown encapsulation service, our coating system in general. You add on to that, right? So you add on the features of the coating system, and this just becomes, it just starts blowing things out of the water. UV block, splinter lock technology, tough film technology that's rated to take on wind-driven rain, sleet, ice, snow, all this stuff up to hurricane wind speeds and beyond, right? You add in the fact that we got the cool touch technology that keeps our decks about 20 degrees or so cooler than thin residential deck paints and stains, right? There's just so many things. The mildew guard, the algae guard, the insect control, right? Everything that Kong delivers to the deck owner is what they need, and just what they need, right? Think about this for a second. 3 visits, and this was all over for them. They pocketed 35 grand in savings, and they walked away with a drop dead gorgeous deck system coated in the world's toughest deck armor and locally backed here in the tri-state for life. We're here where they're at. We're right down the road. We can be here in an hour, right? It's unmatched value that's never ever been seen in the deck refinishing, deck restoration, deck painting, deck resurfacing, whatever you want to call it, segment. It's never been seen there before. This type of value has never been offered by anybody. And it still amazes me that a lot of deck owners on the verge of replacement will see this video or whatever, and they'll just flip right on past it, and they'll end up spending their life savings or signing away a second note on their house for a composite. It's crazy. I don't get it. But look, if you want to know where you can go to get a free quote, right here, KongArmor.com. Here's our phone number. All right, that's it. That's ball game. From Middletown, Ohio, from the Merging Cincinnati and Dayton Metro, I'm Anthony Ford, the proprietor of Kong Armor. I'll see you guys on the next one.